with your permission.
Thank you
Oh,
so much. Yes, go ahead.
yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm going to keep referring to my notes. I'm going to do it very
Yes, yes, yes.
systematically so I don't miss anything. So
Mhm.
thank you for trusting me with this process, with this very
Very
important and
welcome.
sacred information. I appreciate that.
Thank you for taking the time and I mean, wow, 3 folders full of notes for me. Wow, I feel blessed and privileged. I feel special, I'm blushing right now.
Okay. So so I don't know if you're familiar with the Akashic records, but a lot of religions refer to it as the book of life. So, yes. So everything that you've done since you were since you were first created, every thought, every action, from the very beginning to eternity is recorded in there. And so I go in and I ask very specific questions that are relevant to your life journey in this life. So before you were born, your life intentions were established, your parents, your partners, your children, relationships, your career path, and life challenges are also predetermined. And unlocking this information, which I've done for you, is it's like your soul map.
Wow.
It's your gift of understanding your personality, your behavior, some emotional patterns, and some reasons why some things might keep cycling again and again and again. And you'll be thinking, again, I'm dealing with this again. I can't believe this is happening again. It gives you an understanding of why this is happening. I also check for any energetic forces that may be causing blockages. I check for shadow energy and stuff like that as well. And then at the end, I provide prayer requests with your permission to have everything cleared. Now, with you, I did do a clearing. I was like, the notes. I wouldn't say instructed. I felt the need to do a check to see if you had any clearings to do before I did the reading. And so I check on an internal planetary, solar, galactic, and cosmic level. And there were, you were out, I checked for alignment. And you were out of alignment, but on a cosmic level. I know it's a lot to understand. And so what I did was, what I was, what's the word? Impressed to do was a clearing to remove on a cosmic level, to remove painful memories like of war damage from something from another time, okay, on a cosmic level, I guess, and was causing a disconnect to love and light. So I did that, then I rechecked and everything was in alignment after that. So then I proceeded with the reading. We don't have an understanding always of everything in this lifetime, but just so you know, that's what happened.
When you said I'm not in alignment, so how far am I? And and also since the start of the pandemic, as I told you last time, I've had a spiritual awakening. So am I getting slowly closer back in alignment, on at least on the right path compared to what I was before? Or do you see that?
I saw that everything else is in alignment on an internal, a planetary, a cosmic, a galactic. Everything was right in alignment except for that one piece that was out of whack. And so when I did the prayer request, it pulled everything back. So I don't go into what these war memories were or what this was, but I just eliminated, turned everything back into light and gifted it back to the universe, basically, is what happens, and remove that, the memories that are in, like maybe in your DNA or something, to bring it back into alignment.
Once again, sorry, which part is it that is out of alignment?
We're out of alignment on a cosmic
Oh,
level.
cosmic. Okay.
Yeah,
What
so
does
it's
that
like,
mean?
that means like, it's hard to understand. It's like, so you have it's like the picture gets bigger. So internally you were doing good, and then it was like on a planetary level, it's okay. Everything was in alignment. On a solar level, everything was okay. Galactic, but cosmic, there was something out there that was out of whack from, I don't know. I didn't go any further to check into it. All I know is that I was kind of like, I felt moved to check and then bring it back in. and then proceed. Okay, so not all souls originate on this earth. They come from all over the place. And we all have the one place where we were originated. And I ask that you listen to me with an open mind,
Absolutely.
because what came through for me was that you were from Pleiades.
Oh,
So
wow.
you are
I knew it.
Pleiadian. Are you familiar with this?
Oh, yes, I knew it. I've always had this fascination with the Pleiades. Yes.
That's okay. So
And
that
especially
is your
since
soul
I
group.
got aware of it the past 2, 3 years, I started, I had no idea about it. Then I started learning about it. I said, wow, I have this attraction, this fascination with the Pleiades. Yes.
Yes. Have you read the book Bringers of Dawn?
No, but I will write it
It's
down.
something you
I'll
probably
look it
want to
up.
get. Bringers of Dawn by her name is Barbara, and I'll spell her last name for you. It's Marciniak.
Marcinarak, something
Yep.
like, okay, Barbara. All right, I'll get it on from Amazon today. Okay.
Okay. So fortunately, there's a ton of information out there for your soul group. And
Mhm.
so soul group, people that are in soul groups, they seem to be attracted to each other vibrationally. So you may find that you're being pulled in certain directions, or you'll be opening up to other people that are probably from the same soul group. You don't even realize it.
Mhm.
The divine pattern from this soul group would be: the physical would be openness, the mental is progress, and the spiritual is success. So those are the divine patterns. So the Pleiades came to this earth, and I have the year, it's 118,282 BC.
Wow.
It came from the seven sisters on the Taurus constellation system. And
Would
the
you be able
reason
to
they're
say from
here,
which planets of the Pleiades am I originally
it
from?
says it says from seven sisters
Okay.
in the Taurus constellation system.
It doesn't say the exact planet.
I think it's Pleiades.
That's a constellation, but exact planet, because the Pleiades have
I
7
don't know. I
stars.
don't have that information.
Okay, no worries.
From the seven sisters. Okay, so the reason why you're here is to raise a vibration, to help humans evolve spiritually,
Mhm.
to naturally align and with healing energies. You come with a highly developed spiritual awareness, and you're here to help eliminate shadow energy,
Mhm.
which is super important right now. And the attributes of this soul group can show up as it's really important to you to have a spiritual directive. There can be a strong attachment, an ego investment with your work here on earth. And the way those two things kind of manifest on the planet, because you have an important spiritual directive, but a strong ego investment, like, like I got to really do my job while I'm here on the earth. It can manifest here as kind of like appear to be almost arrogance with an inflated self-confidence. But that's only because you have this strong, investment in what you're doing. You're just,
Yes.
I don't know how else to word that. You have quick fix approach to tasks, and tasks come very easily to you. And sometimes, however, you may say, oh, I see, I can go from here to here, but sometimes there may be a missing of a few steps along the way that may have been critical in the process. So sometimes you may find that you need to stop and follow the logical progression of certain things. And where's the second page? Okay, so, and let me see if I left anything else. Let's see. So your soul personality traits would be: you're very vocal in your beliefs, a powerful communicator and teacher. You're very fast paced, able to skip necessary steps in order to achieve results. And your sole purpose and the focus for this world would be to bring energy and teachings that will usher in a new age, to enable healing and bring about positive changes, and to contribute and expand the concept of diversity on earth. So that's a lot to do. I know there's like this big movement of your soul group of they're all coming together, and there are many newsletters out there and so on and so forth. So any questions or anything about that? Have an understanding about that?
Oh, that's make pretty much sense because that's exactly what I am. And I've had that told to me multiple times. Even as I told you last time, I had a past life reading by a German hypnotherapist in December, and she said pretty much the same thing to me.
Oh, okay.
That I'm
Okay.
here to raise the vibration. I'm a teacher and all that. But now,
Mhm,
because you spend more time going into that, you're providing much more details now. You're
mhm,
going much deeper than what she did because she did it live on a podcast. And if you're on my channel, you'll find that episode. I found it beyond fascinating. But what I'm hearing from you is, of course, much more, detailed because you've had time to actually go even deeper and all that. So I'm
mhm.
super excited. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. So after your soul group, the very next thing that I check for would be for shadow energy. You do not have any shadow energy attached to you. In fact, that's one of your
What is a
jobs.
shadow energy? What does that exactly
Shadow
mean?
energy is very real. It is there. That shadow energy would be
Negative entities?
it's negative entities, and they come in many forms, and they are as real as the archangel realm. They are, and they're let me just say, every politician would be shadow energy.
Really?
Anybody, yes,
Wow.
politicians, all shadow energy. Like there are, anyone that's comes from the dark side, that's
Mm,
ego driven, that's, and it can also be darker than that. But a lot of times it depends on what shadow energy it is. Sometimes they attack a person as an individual and to give them feelings of worthlessness and keep them down, because I'm finding like a lot of women that are sisterhood of light, from the sisterhood of light, they have a lot of shadow energy attached to them because they have a very important job like you do here. And so if they don't feel worthy, they don't step into their power, and that keeps the cycle going. So you don't have any shadow energy attached to you in any way.
hallelujah.
So the
Great
next,
to know.
that's good. So the next thing that I check for would be your eternal pattern. Your eternal pattern is like gifted to you when you were first created, and it follows you for eternity. The eternal pattern, it never goes away. It will keep coming up. It will keep popping up. You will see it. And it's interesting that once you are aware of it, you'll be like, oh, okay, all right. So it drives your functions. Whereas your core wounds, which we're going to talk about next, once you heal them, they can go away. But your eternal pattern will always, always be there. And your eternal pattern is organization, which kind of goes along with your soul group as well, if you think about it. So this is how it will show up. It will show up as you're very detailed oriented. You have your own system of classification, how you want everything organized. You have
Yes.
an internal way of doing things, which is not always obvious or clear to other people, but it's very clear to you. And it may not even seem organized at all to others, but to you, it is very clear, and it's very organized to you. But under stress, this eternal pattern can show up when someone moves something or does something out of order. And it can be almost incapacitating to you. If someone came in and you have a system and they kind of shift it around, it's like you might find this is like overwhelming. Like, how could this happen? Like, now, how can I find anything? Or it can be with anything in your life. But does that make sense to you?
Yes, 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 absolutely. Wow.
And it relates really most definitely to your soul group, um, because you have this ability to do this quick fix. And so with your own senses, you know how things need to be. Like, automatically, this is how whatever it is that you're doing or whatever's around you in your space needs to be organized in this way for whatever reason. So the lesson to take from this this eternal pattern is to remain calm if someone interferes with your sense of order, and to ask, how can I work through this? How can I keep order? If in the middle of chaos, like just take a breath and say, okay, what is my sense of how can I bring order back to this chaos? And also to remember that sequences can be very important sometimes, because you can go from here to here, but there are times when the steps in between are truly important. Okay, any questions with that?
Let's continue.
Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just make sure I haven't left anything out. So then the next thing I check on were core wounds. And core wounds are unique because, well, they are
What, sorry? The what?
a core, C-O-R-E,
Okay.
core, your core wound, like an internal wound.
Okay.
Okay, so your core wound, it was predetermined before you came into this lifetime. And what it is that with the core wound, you need to be able to recognize it and to heal it. So it is your job in this lifetime to heal the core wound.
What is my core wounds currently? Are we
Your
able to
core,
identify it?
I'm going to tell you what it is.
Okay, good.
Okay, so your core wound is, hold on, abandonment.
Oh, honestly, I don't, because I've been fiercely independent all my life. I've never felt abundant.
Okay, so let me, let me explain how it shows up and what it
Okay.
is. Okay, so abandonment is a core wound. It can be with friends, family, or relationships. And it can show up as, why try? Every time I get close to someone, they leave me, or it's not worth the effort to get close to someone, or sometimes maybe you feel destined to just be alone. That's how it can show up as.
For me, so far,
Okay.
especially in relationship, has been the opposite. Other people try to get close to me, but I'm the one just saying no.
Well, I'm not sure why that's happening, but let me
Yeah.
finish and see. Okay.
Okay.
But it's this core wound is usually comes from a childhood loss of some sort that translates later in life, and it can show up later in life with friendships or relationships.
What kind of loss of the childhood were you referring to? Loss of a friend, loss of a freedom, loss of what exactly?
I'm not really sure. I didn't
Okay.
really get a sense of that.
Because I've been blessed that I've had a very happy, childhood.
Mhm.
And yeah, sure, I've had my ups and downs, my difficult moments, but knock on wood, my life has been you know, pretty good so far.
Right. But sometimes, okay, so here's another sign of this core wound. It says sometimes self-sabotaging,
Yes.
by self-protection, by turning away from others, is another way that this shows up with this core wound. So that could be, I don't know. Sometimes when you think back to something that happened when a child, it could be so innocent as a kid, now this isn't abandonment, but I'm saying for another core wound, it could have been a teacher's response to something you thought you did really well, and they give you a negative response, and then you carry that like throughout. It can keep showing up. So it can be something that could have been an innocent thing that happened when you were a kid, but you came in with this core wound, and it's very possible maybe you had healed it a long time ago, or it's just evolving this way. But that is one way that it can show up also, is the self-protection by turning away from people that are trying to get close.
Okay.
So I'm just bringing this up so that you're aware of it. If you feel it or sense it happening, okay, you're going to remember my conversation with you today, and you say, okay, this is what this is. And so the way to heal it is to have the awareness that possibly you have this core wound, and And also to recognize that by sabotaging or avoiding a relationship, you might miss out on the really good part of a relationship,
Mm,
and to be open to new relationships.
okay.
Okay, so, all right, so moving on. The next thing that I checked into would be the archangel realm. And the archangel realm is where it's sort of like where you've had training, like extensive training. And that would provide like an area of expertise that or talent that you carry into this lifetime, but it also brings with it attached is a specific challenge that must be acknowledged and resolved. And so the archangel realm also is relevant to gifts and experiences, and it may display some of your personality characteristics or traits or a field that you're working in. So yours is Uriel, it's URIEL, and it is the realm of intellectual curiosity and insight.
Yes, very
Okay,
true.
all right. And so Uriel is called the light of God, referred to as the light of God. And the challenge that comes with this realm that you are to, I guess, recognize and move forward from, like, like the core wound, would be being tactful and not assuming the right answer. But I'm going to go into more of this. So Uriel is the protector of the physical body, the illuminator of minds, and fills us with wisdom, insight, and epiphanies. That teaches communication with wisdom, problem solving. So when you're having an issue, you can always go and ask for his help. It's associated with a strong memory and remembering, communication without misunderstandings. So a lot of times people from this archangel realm will show up as their speakers, journalists, counselors, preachers. And the challenges would be choosing the words for the greater good and not to speak too hastily. So it's sort of like hold your breath for a moment and choose the best words to say that which you need to say. Does that make any sense?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, to not choose your words in haste. That's all.
Yeah, I've had to learn that the hard way. I used to be very impatient and blowing up at the slightest thing, and now I'm much better because of the awakening I've had over the past 2 years. Now I'm much more patient, much more compassionate, and tolerant, and all that. So I'm getting better.
Yeah. So that's it. So you just want to take that breath and choose
Mm,
the best words to say what it is that you want to say. Yeah,
mhm.
there you go. And so then I check for the training on the other side. Because when we're not here, we're over there, and we're either in a position of learning, or if we're an old soul, like you're an old soul, you're a very old soul,
Really?
then
Wow. Mm.
you would have
So does
training. And
also mean also advanced, or am I still to intermediate level as far as enlightenment at a soul
oh,
level?
I think you're an advanced, you're a very enlightened old soul. And I'm
Wow.
going to tell you why. It's because your training on the other side is the Melchizedek priesthood. And the
Sorry, say
Melchizedek,
that again. Say that again.
Melchizedek priesthood. I'll spell it. It's
No, no, I,
MEL.
I I know Melchizedek, but what did you say before that? What is
So your training on the other side is with the Melchizedek
directly
priesthood.
with him? Wow.
With the, yes. So you are, the training in this program is sort of like, they refer to it as Jesus before Jesus.
Okay.
So it's sort of like the attributes. When you say Jesus, people automatically think of, well, if they're Roman Catholic, or it's like, it's not, it's the attributes that are brought forward with
Mm.
that. Okay, that,
The one question I have, so if I'm at the advanced stage of soul level, then if I'm here to enlighten and raise a vibration, so why am I from a physical, in a physical plane, in the 3D, why I'm always, I would say, not the best as managing money. I've had times that I've made $1,000 a day, and times where I run out of money. So if I'm here to enlighten, why am I not blessed with being able to be better at managing my money, so I can have a lot of resources, so I can have a much bigger impact?
I think that the question for that would be, is that when you make a statement like that, you must remember as an enlightened person that you're already making a statement that you are come from a place of lack. When you have come from a place of, you already have everything that you need. Did you have breakfast this morning?
I'm having it right now, cake and
There
tea.
you go. So your stomach is full. Do you have a heat on where you're living?
Oh yes, it's
Then you
barely
have
cold as
heat.
-30 this morning.
Right. So everything that all your needs are being met right now. So you have abundance of
I'm grateful
everything.
for that. Yes.
And so that's what you need to stay into that place.
Mm.
And also you are in the awakening. And when you get to that place where you can say, oh, if you were on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you financially? If you say a 5, then you're still in that place of lack. But when you come from your heart place, and you say, where are you at? You could be in the exact same place you are right now, but you are at a 10 and you feel you're a 10. You know you're a 10. It's because all of your needs are being met.
Absolutely.
So, and also you have to understand too, is that when we come into this life, it's a life to learn lessons, and we come in without a memory. So these things are going to start to peel back. You're going to be put in situations, and people are going to be there to open doors for you, or to say things, and then something that you may have heard 100 times over, or read in a spiritually awakening book a million times, and all of a sudden it finally clicks. And then you'll be like, okay, so your want right now should not be for the finances. It should be, how can I be the best that I can be to do the job that I'm here to do? And everything else will fall into place accordingly.
Yeah, that's true. Even if I was at my lowest, always there was a way that I was able to get myself out of it. You know, when I was a kid, I always had this recurring dream, like very frequently. I was in a town completely devastated by a hurricane or something like that. There was only one tower left standing, only one floor, and I was the only one standing in that floor. All the windows, the walls were completely gone. I was the only person standing, and everything around was completely destroyed. And I've had this different versions of that throughout my teen years, even my early adult life. This dream, and I think how that interprets in life is that I've had the lowest of the lows, but I was always able to find a way to get myself out of it.
Right. So also when you make the statement, like, why can't I earn enough money? That is sort of more of an ego-based thing. It comes back to you that you're doing it. Whereas, it's really, why can't you just receive it? Why does it have to be through income? Why can't gifts come to you from another source? You're putting a limitation on what the universe can bring forward to you. I'm going to tell you a story that I had. I was in a really old hardware store across the city with my husband, and we have a little cabin on our property. We were gonna, we're redoing it, so we have a little cabin on our property to vacation in, like 50 steps from the house. And we were getting buying a toilet seat for the toilet, a new toilet seat. So we picked out this toilet seat. It was in a sealed box, and we pay for it. We bring it home, and he's going to put it on the toilet. And I'm opening the box, and I take out the seat to give to him. And I see this metal thing in the bottom, and I look, and I'm like, oh, that must be a bracket for the wall. And I put the box down, and then I get the message, look again. And I go to look again, and as I'm taking the box, I'm like, bracket for the wall. Like, why would I even think that? Who puts a toilet seat on the wall? It's like the most absurd thing that I would think in the first place. I go to look again in the bottom of the cardboard box, and it's a money clip with a $10 bill in it. And that was a sign. I knew right away. And I said to the universe, thank you. I love to play with the universe. Thank you. Because $1 million could have been in that money clip as easily as a $10 bill.
$10 could be the start of $1 million,
Yes, but do you see what I'm saying? It's like, who would expect to find a money clip, a metal money clip in the bottom of a sealed cardboard box, that's probably been on the shelf for God knows how long, so don't put your limitations, and don't think about like where your lack is and where your lack comes from. You should sit down and every day write down how grateful you are, grateful of everything you're grateful for. I have a book. I have the same thing. I do it. I write it in here. I get up. I start writing every morning, a whole long list. And then I'm so grateful and blessed to have these things like they've already here. And then before I know it, they're there. So you need to change your mindset on that. Okay. So you're already familiar with the Melchizedek priesthood, right?
I've heard of it, but I'm not very familiar. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to read to you. It's so training in this program would be you mirror the core, Jesus's core belief of healing love. Okay, it's highly revered for its powerful ability to heal and for its ability to impart blessing energy. And souls who receive training in the priesthood are highly interested in unification strategies, light work, and profound healing for planet Earth. Now, do you see how that goes right back to your soul group? So you have training from that's your soul group mission, and that's the training that you've had. So if souls that have received this training accept their role as leaders of love, light, and truth, and may pursue careers related to counseling and teaching. So there may be a shifting, but maybe it could be that you're going to be, I sort of see through your podcast, a counselor and a teacher that way by uplifting. This is the fact that you have your podcast and the way that your podcast is done and the way you've based it on, uplifting the planet. You are a light worker and you are already doing light working things. So it all fits together.
I was doing that even way before I was spiritually awakened. I was always the one, always the biggest cheerleader, always empowering people, always encouraging people to go after their dreams and all that. Ever since I was a kid, I was always doing that. I would be the biggest, cheerleader, source of encouragement for people. Ever since I can remember it, yeah.
Yep. So you're right on. You're doing right on. And so the next thing I check for be from which house you're from. And the house refers to a specific historical period of incarnation.
Okay.
And you've incarnated many, many times. But these periods are important to note, even probably because you are in alignment or you carry the attributes from these time periods. Does that make sense?
Yes. Would you be able to roughly tell me how many times I've been reincarnated?
I did not ask that question.
Okay.
I asked what house you're from, and so
The hypnotherapist mentioned that I've had over 17,000 past lives.
Yes, it's very possible. But like I said, they've been all over the place.
Sure.
But the ones that I look for are the ones that are important for your soul map in this lifetime.
Absolutely.
What attributes that's what the word I want to use. What attributes you carry now from these houses. And there are 3 of them, and I'm going to go roughly over them. You're from the house of Jesus, from the house of Buddha, and the house of Krishna.
Wow.
And Krishna is your primary house.
Wow. I'm so glad I'm recording this. Wow.
Yeah.
So even though I was born in a Muslim family, I always had this attraction towards Jesus, towards even Buddha. I felt strong attraction toward them. So that's why I never was religious, but I always believed in God.
And see, that's what people miss. They get caught up in the religion. Because I sat with God, and God, spoke to me and said, your religion is like your name. And so you're going to leave it here. You don't take your specific religion. The attributes that you carry from your faith, that's what you carry with you. The attributes, and that's what everybody on this planet, they miss out on. The attributes of all the different faiths they're humbling and beautiful. And that's what we need to remember. So you are from this is like from the house of Jesus. And so
you mentioned there are 3 houses. So you said I'm from the house of Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna. All these 3 from one same house, or is one house is the house of Jesus, one house is the house of Buddha, and one house the house of Krishna? So
the house of Jesus would have been this one house. When you would have incarnated during this time period, and you carry the attributes from this house. So it was, and Krishna is your primary one. So you're going to carry more of the attributes from the Krishna house than you would from the other 2, but they're all very much a part of the attributes that you carry in this lifetime. Okay. So the house of Jesus, let me tell you, you can always look these up later online as well for more information. But the overall message from this house is that it encourages others to do the right thing, to choose the right path, to act as role models, acceptance, and unconditional love. Sometimes they reach out to disenfranchised groups in their community and offer, they choose frequently careers in healthcare or counseling, or they may take religious vows. They're mentors to others and strong leaders. The descendants of this house are individuals that show love, kindness, patience, and gentleness effortlessly. And they also recognize that they cannot be everyone's savior, and they should accept that limitation graciously. So it's like you cannot save the whole world, but you're going to do what you can do, to those that you can reach, kind of thing. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah, for sure.
So then the house of Buddha. So your soul is aligned with this house also, and it has the view of consciousness, the mind of pure being, enlightenment. You may practice meditation, even if it's your own form of meditation. You may have just.
That's one thing that I always wanted to do, but I haven't started yet. But I will make it a point from this weekend on. I'm gonna start, even if it's 5-10 minutes, to train my mind to start meditating. Absolutely.
So for meditation, it's just set your timer on your phone for 10 minutes and sit quietly and listen to your breath or listen to the noises, and things will come in your head, and just let them come in and let them go out, and let them come in and go out. If you can stretch it to 15 minutes, it's better. But then what that does is it quiets the mind. And if you can visualize always the white light coming in through your crown first and traveling to your heart. And when you get this sensation, when it gets to your heart, that, of overflowing compassion, sit with that and just let it sit with it and see, when you quiet your mind, that's when you are allowing the voice of, I think of it as like the voice of God to come through. You're allowing the messages to come through when you quiet the chatter in here. And if you were to sit right now and think, okay, my body is functioning all by itself. I don't have to do anything. My brain is going, my heart's pumping, all that. That's one part of me. The other part is my mind. My mind is thinking, well, I'm making this conversation with you. I'm trying to prove a point. And my mind is separate from this functioning part of my body. That's the second part. But the third part is my higher self. And when I sit in meditation, I can bring it together, and I can sit and view myself from 360-degree angles. So it's sort of like a bigger part of you, and you bring it here. And you'll have a lot of the answers to the questions that you're seeking when you are able to do that. And it doesn't really take more than 10 or 15 minutes a day. Okay, so back to Buddha. This house is also to be able to see creativity as a means of connecting to your higher self. I don't know if you're a creative person, but those are the moments. It's sort of like a meditative thing. It's like painting or doing music or dance or writing or whatever it is that is for you, that is connecting to your higher self. Intellectual curiosity, and typically passive. So that's the house of Buddha. And then your primary house is the house of Krishna. And this house is aligned with all who seek proper knowledge, show devotion to a higher cause. And its devotion is the guiding force of this house. Very loyal. Again, this goes back to your eternal pattern also, from this house, to eliminate inefficiencies professionally and personally. And that goes back to your organization. Self-disciplined and self-directed, highly charismatic and persuasive. And there are 3 paths to follow in this house. That would be knowledge, devotion, and action. So you might find that you're going that way also. So my primary house is Krishna also. And I was asked, like, was I ever drawn in this lifetime to anything in that regard? I said, no. But it's weird because all people from India are drawn to me somehow. They're just drawn to me, and I don't know why. But now I understand, but I didn't understand before. Like, how is this happening? So, but anyway, so then I check for God spark. So you have a God spark in the middle of your chest. That's when you're first created. It's there. It never goes away. But then I check like the chakras, and it's not that your chakras are closed or open. I'm checking to see if you are expressing the attributes of these of your chakras. And the two that you were not would be the throat and the third eye. Okay, so I have a clearing I can do at the end to get those all open and so you can express those two God sparks. Yep, I'll ask you about that later. So that would be the throat and the third eye. Then the next thing that I check for were your shields, because everyone should come in with 6. You have 6. They're all operating. Everything is going great. Then I ask for spirit guides. How many spirit guides have been assigned to you for your daily life? Now, these are not the spirit guides that come and go, that maybe they're associated with a training that you're going through or a job or they come and they change. These are the ones that are just for your daily life. And you have 14. Have been assigned to you for your daily life. 9 are female and 5 are male. They are all positive. They are all aligned in the temples of light, love, and truth. And then I check to see how many are assigned to you.
Sorry, are these 14 spirit guides, do they have a specific, each of them a specific task in a specific area, or?
Yes, and that's what I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
So I check to see like sometimes they overlap in their duties. And so I ask, so of the 14, 10 are assigned to your health.
Wow.
Okay. All of them are assigned for intimacy and relationships. All of them work together for fun and friendships. Right now, 0 for career and finances.
Wow.
And all of them are all working for spiritual development, path, and purpose. And so what this is to me, it's like, if I have someone that has, they're like, all of them are working for health and everything else is negative, like there's nothing else there, then there's like an imbalance. Either they're really sick and their focus is there, or there's something missing. So for you, you don't have any for career and finances. So at the end, when I do the clearing, I can do a request for, yes. So I'll do the request for new guides to be assigned for your highest good for career and finances.
The question, so how do these spirit guides that decide which area to focus on? Is some entity even higher than that assign these people, okay, you guys focus on this? So how is that done? And yes, that was my question, and you answered it. What can I do to have some assigned to my career and finance, because that's one of the areas that I've been struggling for a long time.
So imagine the only way I can visualize it and explain it would be, so imagine there's some spirit guides there that are, they're sitting on the subway. They're ready to go. They're just sitting, the subway's going, they're ready. Okay, and then there's a higher entity that would say, okay, you and you, go. And so we put in the request, and they, boom, they're there. And you may feel a shift, like you start to feel a shift, because then you have them there, you know that they're working on your behalf. And, and it does, I didn't have any either when I first had my reading, and I was like almost in tears. I was like, please, can we please have them put there? But this is why we do this part of the reading, because we can see if there are any gaps, and this is why this is a struggle for you. So let's get some help, right? Okay, so we put that, I have that ready to go for at the end. Okay, so the next thing I check for would be, this is the progress of your soul's journey right now. And I check for the transition gateway. And the transition gateway, the question I ask is, what is most difficult for you right now? And what life lessons are you trying to learn? And you may have sensed this. You are in a transition in your transition gateway right now.
Okay.
You're leaving, you are finishing up with one thing. You're getting there, you're getting it, and you're moving in to something else. You're to something else to learn. So does that make sense? Like, I'm going to tell you
Yes.
what it is. So what's most difficult for you right now, and the life lesson that you're trying to learn, is redefining your purpose. And I'm going to go into that with you. And then the one you're going into after that is embracing all aspects of self. So as soon as you finish up with this redefining of your purpose, and you're almost there, you're transitioning now, you're redefining your purpose. And then after that, the life lessons that you're going to try to be learning are to embrace all aspects of self. So redefining purpose this is what the one you're finishing up now would be: changing behaviors and routines, maybe reaching a life milestone or reimagining a new life. Okay, making a big shift, willing to change your accepted ways of doing things. Okay, those are the old ways. Maybe that's when you were asleep. Now you're awake. Now we have new ways. Becoming open-minded about different approaches, different ways to accomplish your goals. Think outside of the box. Okay, redefining what is meaningful to you in your daily life, and considering a diversity of choice. So does that make sense to you? Do you
Yes,
feel like
yes,
a
yes.
shift? Okay.
Absolutely. I'd
Okay.
like if you can give me some example of embracing aspects of self.
I'm going to talk about that right now.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
Okay, so that one you finished. This is the one you're finishing up. The one you're going into right now, that you're going to be, it's going to be difficult for you, and you're going to, now that you're going to be aware, it's going to be a lot easier. Embracing all aspects of self. And the way it is, it's learning to overcome limitations, accept that some things are not in your best interest.
Mhm.
For a smoker, it would be, hey, smoking is not in my best interest. I'm not going to do it.
I never smoked and never will, and I don't do drugs, so I'm very clean on that
Yeah.
as
So,
well.
but sometimes it can be for some people, this would be there. And this is not you. I'm just giving you examples.
Sure,
For
sure,
some
sure, sure.
people, it is to keep trying to force a relationship with a family member, even though that family member is like dark energy, like recognizing, okay, this is not in my best interest to try
We
to
can
keep.
have a dark energy within a family as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Sometimes we put ourselves in a situation that is not good. And so we must understand we have to make a different choice. Okay, this is not working. I understand this, and I'm going to go here. But the biggest thing that's part of this transition gateway that you're going to be coming and hitting head on is switching from self-judgment to self-acceptance. Okay. And to recognize that fear may make you feel unprotected, because when you make this shift and you're making these changes, sometimes it may bring up some fear, anxiety about going into the unknown. And you must know that, fear, that's when you feed into the fear, that leaves you to feel unprotected, and it keeps you stagnant. So, but I have a but with great big stars. You control the outcome by not giving into the fear. And you need to bring to attention anything that you view as like the dark side of yourself, or the fact that, okay, so you said something like, you used to have a temper, or you'd say things before speaking. Okay, so when you get through this destiny gateway, this transition, it's going to be able to say, okay, I see that. This is how it was. We walk it into the present. Okay, I see that. And then I'm going to walk it right out. Let it go. I'm going to walk it right out. Walk it out. I'm not a victim. I'm in control of my life and my destiny. I love myself, and it's okay not to be perfect, because I am perfect in my imperfections. But embracing all aspects of yourself is really It's sort of everything, and give gratitude for it. Hey, we didn't come in here all knowing. We came in here
Sure.
and we're learning. So, hey, love those parts of yourself. Love all parts of yourself and face the fears of the unknown. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. So that's a transition. Then I check for your destiny gateway. And the question I ask is, what gateway are you trying to access for your paths on your soul's path to wholeness? So it's like, what door are you trying to get to right now? And it's mission completed.
What do you mean?
That's the title of it. And if you go back to your soul group, remember you came here with a mission, and that's your destiny in this lifetime, is to go and have mission completed. And what it entails is understanding and accepting changes in the way that you do your tasks. And it goes back to mission completion of acquiring new ways of doing things because the old ways were not working. Whatever it was you were doing is not working. Let's go think outside of the box. Do you see how this all kind of goes together? All these messages? Okay. It's also mission completion is recognizing your purpose in this lifetime and completing your mission in a particular area, your soul mission. That's your destiny in this lifetime. Okay. So then you do not have any negative energetic things attached to you whatsoever. But then I asked this question of what percentage of your mental life is being occupied by others? Again, it's sort of like the spirit guides. When I ask that question, it gives me a sense of where we need to make an adjustment or where something is out of whack a little bit. And it said 50% of your mental life is being occupied by others. And what came through were family and professionally.
Okay. So I need to focus less on that and focus more on myself.
Or on you. Yes. Professionally, that's because you have all the career thing is all in an uproar right now. It's like,
because for the first part of my life, I've been always living for family, for others, to make other people happy. And that's why I'm where I am now.
So,
and I said enough of that. Yeah.
That's it. Now it has to be, you can still love your family. You can still be there for your family, but it cannot occupy 50% of your, because that depletes you. So now that you're aware of it, like I don't do a clearing for this, but now that you're aware of it, you'll catch yourself like, okay, when you start to think, oh, family, okay, let me back up now. You can ask yourself, how much of myself am I willing to give up for this? Because 50% of your mental capacity is a lot. It's a lot of a draw from you.
Absolutely. Wow. It's too much.
Yeah. It's a lot of a draw. So then I asked, and again, I'm just the messenger, so I don't know. Because I asked if there were any negative thought forms or anger spirits directed at you or created about you. And there was no. But then I have to also ask, are there any negative thought forms or anger spirits directed or created by you? And it came up with yes. And it came by you to family. I don't need to know any details, but I can do a clearing to help ease that. Please, if there's any underlying.
So if I understand, I'm creating negative thoughts inside my head towards family.
Yes.
Yes, that I can relate that. Yes.
Okay.
Because of the story I've been telling myself, and I need to change that story. Yes.
So we're going to do a clearing for that. But it also goes then now to the 50%. That makes sense now that this mental thing, okay, and it's keeping you because you're here. We want to be here and here, okay?
Even though I've been better now, because before, especially around up until 2020, it was really bad, always, telling myself the wrong story and all that and blaming other people for whatever. But now slowly I've started to let go, to forgive and all that. I'm better now. I'm not as as negative, at least in my mind, towards some of them. But yes, that's something I definitely need to get cleared and get over once and for all.
Yes. Okay. And so I'm sort of getting a little nudge for you with the abandonment core wound, that if you sit with that and take that back, that might be interrelated. It can be a reaction or a relationship with a sibling as well. So just sit with it. You don't have to dwell on it, and just let it resonate and see if it all goes together. Okay. So, any questions?
We're so good. I'll definitely have to rewatch this because wow, some of these things, especially the last part you just mentioned about 50% of mental capacity is occupied by others. That is definitely, I can see that. And also the negative energy that I create in my mind towards others, that also is a definite yes.
Mhm.
Even though, as I said, I've been getting better, still I want to completely eliminate that because I don't need it. There's no space for that in my mind. Shouldn't be.
No, no. And so, with your permission, then, if you don't have any other questions, I can do the clearing. Is that all right?
Yes, please.
Okay, I have some questions I have to ask you.
Okay.
And then, after I ask them, they'll tell you, then I'll have you take a deep breath and close your eyes and inhale and clear. And then you don't have to do anything, just listen. I'm going to be doing several prayer requests. And just so you know, if you hear the D sharp shields, that's the tone, the D sharp tone that's there for your protection. And so that's what I'm going to be
I'll hear
referring to.
something in my mind, or you will be.
No, you just listen. You just sit and allow it to happen.
Okay.
Okay, so, and that's all you have to do.
So you mentioned that you would be doing like what is it? Opening of my asking the spirit guides
Yes,
for my career and finances, and then you said removing the negativity
yes.
from my mantle.
Negative
Okay.
thought forms, and
Mhm.
yes, for career and finances. Yep,
Awesome.
two each for career and finances.
Yes,
So
yes,
it's
yes.
going to be like 4 more coming in.
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, okay. So if you could stop recording, let's not record the prayer request.
Okay.